All right, so actually, I got a couple of ideas for this one. So first of all, I'm going to run my mental space thing, and it's going to basically show Goofy. All right, awesome, good deal. So let's at least for now talk about the string problem, but also I did a little bit of work to find, you know, that yellow bar that keeps showing up here. I did a little bit of work for that. I do kind of want to talk a little bit about the meta of how to deal with goofy things that just don't work, that aren't necessarily code. It's just things with the interface. All right, so this next little bit is a return to strings, and I'm trying to think. You know, going on chapter 9, which is basically just following the syllabus, and for whatever reason, the previous my predecessor kind of grouped 4 and 9 together, and I get it. Maybe they just did that to get the dates. I don't know, but or I sometimes I'm wondering why wasn't this covered in the actual string portion of chapter 4? But it's okay. There's a lot of value in looking at the string methods that are on page 279, and I just want to show some of them. I don't want to show all of them because, oh my goodness, that would be a boring video for everybody. So I have this thing called string goofy, and it's got that value in it. Now, remember, strings are complex data types. Hey, why are you hiding? What's going on here? Oh, that's nice. Holy smokes, Grant. Look at your own code. There it is. Okay, how about that? That should work now. Now everybody's happy, and string goofy is showing A, B, C, D, E, F, G. All right, good deal. I'm not going to get that bar again. I can tell. It knows I'm onto it. Anyway, all right. So I want to basically now print the first character. So for you guys that suffer through me through Python, I will tell you that there is that these strings are kind of they're composite data types, and I can actually have maybe perhaps something called a char, and I'll just basically go I don't know, first char, something like that, and this guy is assigned string goofy. Now this is totally not going to work. Oh, that won't work for other reasons. But there's string goofy. This is not going to work because it's saying you can't take a string and convert to a char. But I can take the first element of it, or element. Anyway, I can basically take the first bit of it, basically, right there. And so now if I say, hey, print this, and then print string goofy, print the string char, first char, right? And I go, we've got basically the first character. So that's, you know, I hope that's kind of review. If it's not, definitely mess around with this. You know, maybe what you could do at some point is say, okay, Grant, that's awesome. What happens if I go like 2, for example? If I go 2 and I go and I run it, and I come this thing back up, it is now not so much 2, but 0, 1, 2, and that gets me C. Awesome, good deal. What happens if I pick something that's out of range? So let's go 100. Give me the 100th element of it, and it's going to basically at this point blow up with a runtime error, which we'll be talking about soon enough. Look, the yellow bar is back. All right. So is this a good time to talk about the yellow bar? I think it's a good time to talk about the yellow bar. So let's take a quick little detour. So imagine, if you will, that you're trying to work in your IDE, trying to teach a class, and you know you brought up the most recent version of Visual Studio, and you basically go ahead and you get this error. One of the first things you'll do if you're good about this is you will go and rather than emailing me, you could go ahead and actually do a nice little Google search on it. And in this case, it makes sense to go to Microsoft and or again Stack Trace as well and all that. There's some other places. But I basically, all I did is I did a little search for exactly that error message. And it basically came back with this as being one of the options. At first, it's like, what's going on? By the way, notice he's going C#. I think that's what he means by that. And then he basically copy and paste the whole thing. You don't really need to do that. I see why. I mean, he kind of put up, or they, yeah, he put all this stuff out there. The other thing you want to do right away is you want to look, how old is this? But this isn't actually that old. So we scroll on down, and Microsoft helpfully says a fix has been released. Install the most recent version of whatever. The other thing I'm noticing, it's been closed for 90 days. If we haven't resolved the issues, please report. and nobody's saying it works, and 2 are saying it didn't. So it's like, great. So then I start looking at this stuff. This guy says, I've been running this version, I've been running this version, still getting the error. These are coming out pretty recent. And by the way, for this course, I did install the most recent version off of Azure, so I doubt if that's the actual error. And so, and this guy decided not to share it, so I don't know what's going on. So I'm thinking, what version am I running? You will need to know this kind of stuff, not for the course, but for your life. So remember, okay, I don't know, you're erroring out now, that's fine. Oh, I get it, you're waiting for me to stop. Good. So what you can do is you go to help. Almost all these tools will have some kind of about in there, and that is my version, 16.10.4 of Visual Studio, and I would be tempted to also share the .NET framework as well. So 16.10.4 versus some of these people that were complaining, 16.10.2 back in June, and who knows when this guy, whatever, obviously this message wasn't super useful. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try this thing. This guy came along. He says, what I did to avoid the annoyance of the exception message constantly popping up, tools, options, debugging, general. So let's go and do that. I'm going to put this on a separate screen just so I can follow it and go up to here. I'm going to go OK. I'm going to go to tools, options, and what was the other guy? Debugging, tools, options, debugging. Oh, Grant, that's because you're here. That's okay. That's environment. That's fine. Okay, there's our debugging general. And then he said clear, enable to continue. Let me just bring that back up so you can see it. He's saying to clear, enable to continue. So I'm going to bring that down. Where we go? Blah, blah, blah. Enable to continue, enable to continue, enable to continue, enable to continue, enable to continue. Clear, enable to continue. All right. Well, let's, before I just follow some stranger into a bar, let's just have a look at this. Enable native edit and continue. Apply changes and continue. Warn about stale code. I am a little emotionally challenged to just simply click off on that. But you know what? I'll run the risk of the experiment. For you guys, I'm going to run this risk. Because I don't think we're using it advanced enough that I should be worrying about this native edit. So I'm going to click on click on that. I'm going to click on OK, and then I'm going to basically click on this, and now I'm going to see how many times this thing keeps interrupting my course. All right, wasn't that exciting? The whole point of this was just basically to show you that there are going to be times you're going to have to basically figure some of this crap out on your own. You can't just phone the help desk of Microsoft and say, "Hey, how come this isn't working?" So Googling helps. Trace one, I just keep forgetting. Stack trace, that helps. I just think Googling an error message helps, right? So so there you go. All right, back to this guy. So I just showed you some basic string stuff, and I even managed to show you an exception. Now, as I said, I'm not going to sit there and go through all of these because that's really boring. I will say, though, there are some really cool ones that are fairly commonly used. One, we're going to go string, and what if you want this to be in uppercase? So I'm going to call this thing upper goof, and I'm going to go upper goof is this guy, and it's going to be 2. And notice I got some choices. Oh, that's interesting. I got everything. There are 2 uppers right at the bottom. Oh man, why'd you do that? Come on, help me out here, dude. Help me out. 2 upper. All right. So now I'm going to say, hey, can you please print upper goof? So this is what I would call a case conversion. Upper goof, copy. Okay, somebody is not playing nice. So stop that, please. All right, let's go over here. Go to control, copy. Okay, you know what? Please just work with it. Oh no, you really are messed up. Who is messing me around? Come on. All right, so you know what I'm noticing? I have even more problems now than I had before. And I don't think it's got anything to do with, yeah, I don't know, man. What an unstable piece of crap. Okay, let's go here. I'm going to go back general. Thankfully, remember where it was. Where was I? Enable, edit, and control. Please bring all that crap back. I don't know if that's helpful or not, but for goodness sakes, please. Oh, that was a bad piece of advice. Don't follow that piece of advice. If you stop watching the video now, well, before then, too bad. But anyway, I'm going to go. Man alive. All right. Now it's been converted to uppercase. Good deal. As you might imagine, there's a 2 lower, and I believe the other one is, I don't think there's any kind of initial case, but there you go. There's a replace as well. That's kind of important. So instead of, I'm going to go upper goofy as this guy. I'm going to basically say, can you replace? And I think that's probably demoed in one of these pages, I bet you. Replaced. Yeah, well, anyway, I'm pretty sure this is likely how it works. Replace. And I'm going to say, can you replace every occurrence of A with every occurrence of, no, sorry, replace it with Z. How about that? All right, so I'm going to replace that. We're going to go run it. And there it is. It replaced A with Z. Awesome. Go ahead, check out the replace. Those are kind of cool. The other one that's really kind of neat is the index of, which is where I'm basically asking where in the string is, like, for example, CDE. That's going to be an actual number. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to remove upper goof, and I'm going to remove this because this whole idea has kind of gone down the toilet. And I'm going to basically say I'm going to create an integer, which I'm going to go place of C. Okay, and it's going to be assigned string goofy dot index of. Okay, so it's the index of, can you please tell me the index of C, that character? What a character. And let's go down here and go console, right line. Notice that my indenting is off, and unlike Python, it doesn't care, right? It cares enough, by the way. You don't want to mess around with it. This would be really sloppy. You wouldn't want to get this. You wouldn't want to have your name attached to it anyway. But so let's run this guy. Yeah, see, this guy's back again. Oh man, and you are mad because why? What happened? Why are you mad? Why are you mad? I don't think you're mad. I think you're just being goofish because you know I'm trying to record this. Yeah, see, ran it again without a problem. Anyway, so C is in the second spot. Not really in the second, it's in the third, but you got to subtract one. So index of is kind of cool. You want to look at that. Another thing too that typically happens. Oh, by the way, while I'm doing this, what if I was looking for C? What if I was looking for DE? I'm going to put 2 things in there. DE. Well, I put 2 things in. It's mad because that is not a character. That's a string. So let's go ahead and do that. So now I'm looking for the string DE. Remember, single quotes for characters, double quotes for strings. I bring this guy up. No problem. D is in the third spot. 0, 1, 2, 3. All right, cool. Now, last one on this before I just, well, there's 2 actually. We got a fairly common thing is to take a substring. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go place of C. Okay, so it's going to be string sub. Actually, sure. First 3 chars. Okay, first 3 chars. Just to copy that, throw it down here. First 3 chars. So this guy is going to be the substring, which is there it is. So it's the substring, and I'm going to basically say, hey, can you please start at 0 and go right there for length. See that? Start at 0, go for length. All right, now, why are you mad at me? Why are you mad? You can't convert a string to an integer. Right, you cannot implicitly convert type string to type integer. Why are you telling me that? Well, that's a phrase. I don't need to think anymore. I have an IDE. That'll tell me everything. So you're saying Retrieves a substring. The substring starts at a section, which is what I'm thinking, and goes for a certain length of time. Let's just say 1 for now. And now you're just mad at the whole thing. All right, let's have a look at the book for a second, see how it's using substring. So there is no way that's what's causing it. Good. All right, I'm happy with that. All right. So string, that's the substring. This is not doing what I thought it would do, obviously, and I seem to have what I need. So, oh, for goodness sake, jeez Louise. If you read the error message, take a deep breath, and then read the error message again. It might make sense. I'm going to tell you, in the real world, you don't typically flip around data types, going integer, and then I'm just going to make it a decimal. Well, let's make this string, and let's do, you know, I mean, there's hopefully a little bit more design for that. However, as we're in the tinker toy play area of mental space, goofy crap like that happens all the time. So what was happening? That was an integer. I was trying to put a string into an integer, and so was math. Nothing to do with the space. I can put this back to 3, and now actually get looking at get looking at that. So I'm going to go, and what we get, it starts at the first spot, goes for 3, ABC. All right, so that was it. Oh, one more thing. That's right. I was going to do one more attempt to make my life complete. A lot of times, what happens is we get data like this. So I'm going to go. And actually, before I even do that, let me just make sure I know what I'm talking about. You probably won't. 12, that's fine. Yeah. You know, it's worth it. Grant, comma, Spencer. All right. So that's a nice little string, Grant, comma, Spencer. Let's just throw this out and throw this out. And what I want to do is I want to split this. Now, we are sitting in chapter 9, and we haven't actually talked about this yet, but we can create a neat little variable that, rather than just having a string of like A in the first position, B in the second position, C in the third position, we can create something like this. And I'm going to go string, but look what's happening. Bang. Now that's interesting right there. Now that's actually called an array. And I'm going to call this thing names. So I'm just going to call this thing names. I'm going to say it's assigned string goofy dot split. All right, so now it's only mad that I'm not using it, but let's just make sure that the compilation works, and the compilation works great. Now watch this. I can, if I want, and it's, well, actually, again, you're not all new to programming. You're all new to C#. So you've seen us use arrays before in Python. So hopefully you can handle a little of that happening here. We're not going to use them yet, but I thought this was kind of a neat little demo. So there's names. Now I can't just print names. I bet you, is it going to get mad if I try to print names? Well, let's just try it out anyway. So yeah, it absolutely is not doing what I thought it would do, right? Because it's basically saying system string, system string. No. We want to basically print names, the 0th one, and this one, we want to print names, the first one. All right, so let's, well, the second one. We go, and it's mad because the index is out of bounds of the array. Oh, yeah, it is. It is out of bounds of the array. I am so sorry. So I told you here to split, but I didn't say what to split on. I bet you, dollars to donuts, the 0th element is quite happy right now. The 0th element is the entirety of the string because it didn't split it on anything. But what I could do is say, can you split on the comma? And I'm going to go, And now what's going to happen is that the 0th element has got grant. And if I said, okay, let's bring in now the 2nd element. Now we've got Grant and Spencer. Definitely something to mess with because data flows in and out, a lot of it through comma delimited files and things like that. And it's very important for you to be able to take a line and split it up. And so that's kind of what that little bit was about. I don't really want to go off and start. They got a string builder class conversation and all that. There is a format coming up. So what I might do is just sort of skip over some of the stuff which you should not, and then kind of demonstrate a little bit on formatting. Because remember, I told you that you could read in a certain format, but that would be nice to kind of write out some of the state stuff in formats. We probably should need to know how to do that, and then we can finally call it a day for chapter 9. Chapter 9 is a little weird because we're talking about stuff that we haven't actually talked about yet. But anyway, it'll be good. They'll all come together in the end. It'll be wonderful.